No. There is a simple decision that we could all make right now that would make an exponential growth, an acceleration in every area of our life. I know because I did it. This will change. It will draw a line in the sand between everything that has come before and the amazing growth that you'll experience in your relationships, your career, your health, everything in your life. 16 years ago, I was in a position where I was doing pretty well as a guitarist and comedian. I was getting bookings. I was winning some awards. And I have a mentor friend who said, "That's great. Have you resolved to be the best?" And he meant like my personal best, not compared to anyone else. And I was like, dude, that's guitar player talk. Dude, I'm doing pretty well here. And he was like, dude, that's not what I asked you. Have you resolved to be the best? And I started thinking about it. And the answer knocked me over. No, I had not. Here I was doing what I feel like I've been put on the planet to do, and because it's working, I was coasting. Turns out most of us are coasting in some important area of our life. And here's the problem with coasting. It only happens downhill. So it was that day that I made the decision that changed everything. But I personalized it, and I wanted to expand it because I see the art in every part of life. I made the choice to become a virtuoso. A virtuoso in the art or music world is someone who has dedicated his or her life, who's achieved a level of mastery and skill supreme. And I'm not saying that I am a virtuoso. What I'm saying is I have definitively chosen to be on that path. And what I've found from the clients and people that I've worked with is that the greatest payoff in life, the greatest growth in prosperity and everything else happens between competent and virtuoso. The opposite of virtuoso isn't failure. The opposite of virtuoso is competent. There are many competent people. There are precious few virtuosos. So let's say you accept my premise and you want to make this decision. I'm going to become a virtuoso. What's the first step? Sit down and answer this question on paper. What would it take for me to become a virtuoso? And then fill in the blank. For me, it would be, what would it take for me to become a virtuoso guitarist, comedian, and keynote artist? It might be a virtuoso professor, a virtuoso social worker, a virtuoso CPA, a virtuoso janitor, teacher, whatever it is. And then answer the question. Some cool things will happen when you sit down to do this. For me, at the time I made this list, and I came up with about 11 things I could be working on. When I made this list, I had been playing guitar for probably 20-some years. The first thing I wrote on the list was, take lessons. Who knew? I mean, I'm self-taught, right? We get proud of that. I'm self-taught. Here's the problem with being self-taught. The teacher's not that good. Right? If you will make this list, I'll guarantee you two things about it. Number one, it won't take you more than 10 minutes. You could do it on the break. That's because, number two, you already know the answers. We know what we need to do, we just don't do it. I have a friend named Cherie Rowe in Las Vegas. I live in Las Vegas. And Cherie would tell you a year ago that she was coasting, kind of downhill. She's a great pianist, but she had, through budget cuts and things, had lost her job with the Las Vegas Opera and UNLV. And she wanted to take my Virtuoso course that we teach there in Las Vegas. But the night that it began, she had 5 piano students to teach. They all 5 called and canceled. We call that a sign. So she came to the class, and the first day we make this virtuoso decision, and over the next 6 weeks, 1 hour a week, we formulate the plan. Now, there's 2 things that are going to happen when you make this decision and you start to act on it. Number 1, you will get a much expanded view of what's possible in your life. And number 2, people will be drawn to you. People are drawn to people on a mission. So Cherie identified that really what she wanted to do was she wanted to study with the best pianists in the world. But how is she going to do that, right? I couldn't make this up. 9 days ago, while I was literally on the computer preparing this presentation, I got a surprise email from Cherie freaking out saying, of 3,500 people from Tokyo to Paris, she was just selected one of 3 chosen to be part of the professional studies program at Juilliard at Lincoln Center. She starts in July. Yeah. It started with one decision. And I have countless testimonies from clients, both corporate and individuals, who've experienced similar results. Now, I had been teaching this and sharing this in keynote presentations for a number of years when an incongruence hit me. Who am I to teach this unbelievable tool and apply it to my career, but not apply it to the things that I value more highly than my career? For instance, my family. My wife and I this year will celebrate 22 years of marriage. Thank you. Actually, I think she's celebrating maybe 9 of them. So I went home and I sat down. I said, what would it take for me to become a virtuoso husband? Guys, if you make this list, I'll tell you number 1 on the list. Ask your wife. Trust me, she's got a list. Or I also did it this way. What would it take for me to become a virtuoso father? I mean, I love my parents, but let's face it, most of our parents are the reason psychotherapists have a job, okay? Right? Okay. So what I'm really saying is to make the choice to become a life virtuoso. Becoming a life virtuoso is not about trying to be good at everything. It's about being great at the most important things. And really, why wouldn't we? Now, lest you think I am advocating a type A overachieving workaholic approach to life, I am not. When we work through this, there are a number of habits that need to be developed to make this happen, to become a life virtuoso. The number 1 most important habit is sleep. None of us get enough sleep. You cannot be a life virtuoso bleary-eyed. I also have to tell you about my friend Toby. Toby's a guy I went to college with. Toby's stated goal in life is to do as little as possible. Okay? So you figure, slacker, right? No. Toby is a virtuoso audio engineer. He's worked with the best in the world, B.B. King, Ringo Starr, Dolly Parton, across the spectrum. Toby accurately reasoned that if he is the best, his personal best at what he does, he will get paid the most, he will work with the best, he will be done the fastest, and he can be at home in front of the television, which is what he wanted in the first place. My father passed away almost 2 years ago, and it was sad, but it wasn't unexpected. And as my siblings and I were going through his things, we found some things that totally surprised us. In fact, I brought it, but it's backstage. We found Boost Your Memory Learning cassettes on VHS and cassette, okay? We found Tony Robbins tapes and plans for businesses that we knew nothing about. The sad thing, the thing that hurt, is they were all unopened. He'd made the choice, but he never acted on it. And I don't want that for you. What I'd like is for all of us to make that choice, to become a life virtuoso. It's not about trying to be good at everything. It's about being great at the most important things. And it's my hope, personally in my life, that my kids will be the first, when they look back at my life, not to say, wow, it's too bad about Dad. I want them to look back and be the first to declare, hey, Dad really was a virtuoso. So I'm going to do one more piece in my quest for that end. And it's something I've never played as a solo on one acoustic guitar. It's about my favorite piece in the world, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, attempted on one acoustic guitar. you.